Welcome in, everybody. 4:37, our usual odd hour getting to do this. I'm Eric, that's John. We got a lot of snow in some places, not all, in some.
Yeah, it was, as you predicted, have and have nots, right? And to the west of here, they got some good totals, and certainly to the east and, you know, Oswego County, Jefferson County, they're getting pounded.
And some of the have-nots will become haves later on tomorrow and tomorrow night. Now, before we get into the snow out of all of this, what's affecting everybody is the wind.
Oh, yeah.
You got to see this firsthand. Let's show some of John's video from earlier. John, walk us through what we're looking at.
Yeah, Soda's Point. Look at the surge right here, Eric. This thing towering to the top of the light. Not uncommon when you have a west wind. The winds were sustained at this point about 28, 29 miles per hour. Gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour. And the lake's so high to begin with, it doesn't take a lot to push that water up on that outer light and on that pier. I always go here when the winds whip from the west here and to Oswego.
Yes.
Decided not to go to Oswego given the road conditions on 104 past Sterling. I really didn't want to venture there and then have to make it back here. But as always, this was quite a show. And I thought I heard 3 different thunderclaps during the morning. Not definitive. I checked the radar, didn't see anything, but I thought I heard them.
And there's going to be more of that, I think, too. Now, you're getting off toward Pulaski, the south side of Watertown. I think they're going to be dealing with that. But this is intense stuff.
Oh, no, it was sustained. I mean, just as you could see, just tour de force there at Soda's Point.
63-mile-an-hour gust in Warsaw earlier this morning. That was the highest one that I saw. Speaking of Wyoming, they got those blizzard warnings. That's why. Check this out. This is I-90. There's blue sky in there in a few of these shots.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that how lake effect goes?
Victor,
Victor's not bad. This is the view from Rochester. 47 miles an hour. That's the most recent gust. And what are we now? 438. So that would have been over the past 60 minutes we climbed that high.
Wow.
But it does look like some sunshine is trying to peek out there. That's another view.
Absolutely, yeah.
Got the bridge there toward the bottom of the screen. Look at that. Right behind that band of probably some snow flurries in town. You've got more blue sky in the mix there. Now, the wind here, John, is west-southwest. So you had alluded to this morning it was more due west.
Yes, it was.
We've backed that slightly. It's not a lot of a southerly component, but it's enough of one that the primary snow band that you've been kind of tracking, and probably what caused that thunder just offshore earlier, that is going right in there, crossing over 81 near the Oswego north side there, at least at this point.
Yeah.
But because we have that southerly component, you are not affected by this in the Rochester area, not yet. You've got problems coming off of Lake Erie. That's another decent wind flow here for heavy snow, especially into Wyoming County. Some of that will stream eastward into Livingston, but really does not survive, at least not with any gusto beyond 390. These are Lake Erie snow showers in the Finger Lakes, but they don't have a lot of kick to them anymore.
No, but impressive that that wind carries it that far off that great lake. Amazing.
Just scooping up that moisture and it flings it forever. Intense snow band right now. South of Watertown, you've got Adams, you've got Richland. Those are both along 81. Still, again, there's no lightning being picked up here, but you're close to it, I would imagine.
You know, the funny thing is my daughter does TV in Watertown, and she's on call for 4:30 tomorrow morning to cover this here.
I believe it.
And I said, Natalie, get me a picture when the light is evident. I want to see it.
She's going to have to allow a lot of time to wherever she is moving around to. They're expecting, and we'll show this in a minute, but I think they're going to have many feet of snowfall with this. That's your radar out of Rochester. We've got some snow flurries here, but it's largely not that big of a deal. We've got the top of this snow band farther off to the north. I'm going to step off real quick here, John. Bring up a couple more graphics I want to show folks here that we got rid of. We're going to take a look at future view, and then I want to show a couple of snow maps as we start to move forward with this. So here's where the models kind of see this going. Through tonight, your primary snow band is still located offshore. I want you to focus on the winds. You see that southerly push?
More of a southerly.
It's west-southwest. So you're not going to get big problems in Rochester with this. I don't think there's going to be big problems early tomorrow morning in Rochester. So we're all going to be sitting around going, what's all the big talk here? What will eventually happen late in the day tomorrow, we're going to go from this, watch it kind of veer on us, to more of a west-northwest. Can you see that change there? And
even
now,
10 degrees makes a difference.
It's a huge difference. All we need is some onshore component to that wind. It doesn't always work out this way, but in this particular instance, we're already going to have this well-established band that will have been there for 24 hours plus. And if you get any northerly nudge to push it down, that's what it's going to do. So we're not playing this game of where will the band set up, will they even, we know the band is already going to be there. It's just getting that push, and I think that happens after dark tomorrow. This is not going to be as heavy as what they are dealing with in the Tug Hill, but it will be heavy enough that I think several inches of snow are going to be a good bet. Watch the realignment of some of these bands. They keep on going into early Saturday morning. Now that you've got that northwest flow, you've got some multi-bands before things start to break up from there and winds turn more southerly. Projected snowfall out of this, there's two big bullseyes. Number one is, well, they always get that, Wyoming County with that flow.
Yeah.
You brought this up too. You asked me, so are you backing off on the 12 to 24? All I could do is put a plus there.
Yeah.
I could see some spots doubling that 24. There might be a place that hits 4 feet of snow out of this, where that band is.
Historically, that would be right in there.
It would be.
Right in the heart of the Tug Hill
And you've got
Plateau.
some elevation help. We call that orographic lift. That air hits some of that higher hilly terrain, and it can't go down. It's forced to go up, and that's how weather works, is the premise of getting air to rise. So this is how the topography plays a big role in lake effect snow, particularly there. And then you've got this secondary area, and this is where those of us from Lyndonville to Albion to Rochester, Webster, Wolcott, Lyons, you know, your typical usual suspects on a northwest flow who have largely gotten a dusting or maybe an inch of snow out of this up to this point. Beginning late tomorrow into Saturday, that's where I think the bulk of the accumulation is going to end up being. Some spots in there get 3 to 6. We'll go northern Wayne County. I'll kind of upgrade that to a potential of 6 to 12 in a few spots, but, you know, keep in mind with all of this, this is lake effect. This is not system snow.
Sure.
Some of you will get 6 to 12. It's going to be where those individual bands want to park, much like in the Tug Hill. Not everybody gets 4 feet. Somebody in there gets 1, a couple miles down the road, they get 4. We're not talking 1 and 4 feet numbers, but it could be the difference here between 2 inches and 6 inches, you know.
And I look at this difference, and this is just amazing. You're talking close to 50 degrees on Monday.
And rain. And that's going to melt away a lot of this snowfall. I have a feeling that by much of next week, you're going to be looking at green grass across a lot of the Rochester area. And most of next week, for that matter, looks like it's going to end up running warm. Everybody always asks on these Facebook Lives that I do every night, so what does March look like? Because remember, we go to March, I think March 1st is Sunday. March looks warm and it looks wet. Warm and wet does not necessarily mean you're not going to have big snow in there.
Right.
Oftentimes, warm and wet means you are going to end up getting stronger storm systems, and that's what causes the warm, is because it's wrapping that warm air in there. But if they track just right, that is the kind of setup here that what we just went through with this really deep low that moved over Rochester, if that low had been 50 miles east, blizzard warnings would have been in effect here. So we got off really lucky with that. They didn't in Wyoming County, obviously, but would not have taken much for this to be a big one here.
And to be clear, the blizzard warnings are still in effect for Oswego County and Wyoming County.
They are, and it's for a different flavor of why they're there. Before it was for that snow coming with the low. Now it is the lake effect. And to that point, and I'll mention this too, when we get that band to drop southward later on tomorrow, even into Rochester, we don't have blizzard warnings. I don't think blizzard conditions necessarily are going to happen, but you're still going to have winds gusting 30, 35 miles an hour, and you get inch-an-hour snow rates in that band.
That's the one thing I noticed this morning, just driving to Soda's Point. The biggest challenge at the dusk hour, even before it was kind of dark, in those rural areas, you're going by farm fields, and that snow, even if it's half an inch, is just blowing and really reducing your visibility in some areas to nothing, so you really got to exercise caution.
I drove over to Webster early this afternoon, and it was largely not snowing at all, but there were piece parts of that trek that the roads were covered in snow, where you got into some open terrain there, and it was just blowing it over those roadways. So there's going to be a very big element of that, too. And then by Monday of next week, you and I will be standing here going, huh? What are we talking about?
Where'd it all go?
Where'd it all go? It's 50 degrees again on Monday. So we'll get you through this. We're going to fine-tune the timing out of all of Friday and all of Saturday, and that quick wrap-up beyond the weekend. It'll be a fun next 48 hours.
We appreciate it.